Hi, my name is Robert Longo. I'm the owner and operator of 2121 Productions for the last 17 years. I'm also the writer, director, cinematographer, and editor for the movie The Husband. We decided to do a horror movie, and this is our first horror movie for 2121 Productions. We have three other feature films before this, two action adventure movies and a documentary. We finally decided to dip our toe in the horror genre because when I first started 2121 Productions, I was inspired by a weird New Jersey article about abandoned slaughterhouse, and I wrote a feature film for it. Except when I wrote it, I had no mind about budgets or what movies really cost, so I wrote a very expensive movie that to this day sits on the shelf. And in between all of our other projects that we had going, I would still write the occasional horror feature film, thinking one day I'll get to it and I'll shoot it. I met Eva Moroz, and she actually told me one day, she's like, no more writing stuff in notebooks and ideas and scripts that are never shot. You need to decide and shoot one of them. And I thought about this, and she was, of course, right. And I was looking for inspiration, and Eva, who's an artist, drew this wonderful creature, just a pencil sketch, did a few versions of it and showed me it, and right away it clicked. I'm like, that's the creature, that's the horror movie we're going to make centered around this creature. And thus The Husband was born. So we have all these horror movies ready to go. We have the scripts ready and everything, and the first one out of the gate is The Husband. So our plans are pretty ambitious. We don't plan on just doing this one horror movie. We're making a horror universe, a horrorverse, if you will, which is, of course, the popular thing to do, but lends itself really well to continuing storylines. So The Husband takes place in our fictional world, The Grove. And The Grove is this town that's kind of like barriered off from the other towns and other cities where supernatural things happen at a very exaggerated and alarming rate. Kind of think of our almost like an anthology. The Grove, it's inspired by the works of the SCP Foundation that's online on the internet, the Monsters of the Week, through the X-Files TV show, and even like going way back, like Tales from the Dark Side. And I grew up in Cedar Grove, and that's where actually The Grove is based off of. And Cedar Grove is this wonderful town I grew up in, early 80s, riding my BMX bike around and everything. And it had everything from bike trails to a comic book store to a cinema, everything you could imagine. Everything that made the 80s great was within the borders of Cedar Grove. Everything also from, its own mythology and legend, like the Devil's Hole, or also the insane asylum that was like 2 blocks away from my parents' house. So it was just rich in stories and locations. And that's where we need your help, because we're going to make this movie no matter what. We already are in production of it, but we need your contribution to help us finish it, and also to make it into this ambitious idea we have of making The Grove a whole horrorverse for everyone to enjoy for years to come, with several movies already planned. We already have 2 movies ready to go right after this one is finished. I wrote all my horror movies as your typical indie filmmaker, typing out my screenplay over a cup of coffee at the local cafe. And we lucked out very much so with The Husband, our movie, because we got a lot of locations lined up with very little trouble and a lot of help from, Cedar Bean and Cedar Grove, to Blue Lotus in Montclair, to the Mineral Cave in Central Jersey. The locations are well beyond your usual independent film, and we want to share it with you, and that's where your contributions come in. It allows us to help finish the movie the way we envisioned it, and we like to think you get some really great perks, from the DVD or Blu-ray to posters to maybe even a resin statue or action figure. And if you really go for it, you can also become a producer of the movie and get invited to the premiere, which is going to be in October this year for Halloween. The amazing thing about, independent filmmaking, and that we love about it, is the community that grows around it. Everybody wanted to be involved in this movie. We had a lot of extras, we had a lot of help, we had a lot of just great talented people, from Casey Weir to Alex, who did our music and everything, and our actors and actresses are amazing, from Erin and Peter and Krista. Couldn't have done it without them. They are so talented. I can't wait to share them on screen with all of you. So no matter what, we're going to make and finish The Husband, and it's going to premiere in October, in time for Halloween. But we do need your contributions, and I understand, maybe you can't contribute at this time. But what you all can do, and it is priceless, is to share this video with everybody else on your Facebook page, on your Instagram page, and just get the word out and help us launch our first movie in our franchise of The Grove. Thank you.
Why are you taking so long for this?
Because you love it when I look nice.
Okay. Tell me about the relationship with my husband.
She likes riding her bicycle. I know that. I bought it for her, yet she still rides down that trail when I forbid her to. What am I paying you guys for?
Not on that trail, ever.
Will you be my husband?